Good morning, my name is Derek and this is the guidebook. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be hiking to some arches in Colorado. We're out near Grand Junction this morning and it is beautiful out here. We just parked right back here. This is the road that leads to Rattlesnake Canyon that we just parked along. Continues this way, and up ahead there's a rock ledge that I didn't think I was comfortable driving the truck over, so we're just going to park there and hike the rest of the way in. In my stock 2020 Chevy Silverado, we were able to make it about a half mile from the trailhead. And we might be able to make it further, but I'm just not really comfortable in my truck going any further. There's a ledge up ahead that we're going to show you. On the way out, we'll show you more of this road coming in. I just didn't want to try to film it and talk about it as we were coming in since I didn't really have all the information yet. So we're going to go see these arches, and on the way out, we'll show you the rest of the road. Maybe about 100 feet up the road from where we park now, and this is the ledge I was talking about. Try to really show you. Now, if you have a Jeep or a high clearance 4x4, you'd probably be fine, but with how long the truck is and how it's not lifted or anything like that, we didn't want to go any farther. So if you have a lower clearance car, I'd probably try to park back where we did, and I wouldn't try to go over this. There's a side over here that looks like it could be a little bit better, but there is still a rock ledge, and this is pretty off camber too, so this looks sketchy as well. So I would just park back there if you don't have a high clearance 4x4. Been hiking down the road for a little bit now, and as you can see, it's like pretty rocky in some places. Hasn't been anything else too crazy since that ledge. I think the truck would have been fine driving down the rest of this past that ledge, but still somewhat rough of a road, and there are still some, little ledges like this and rocks and things like that to avoid. So we just made it to the Rattlesnake Canyon trailhead. It was a pretty short walk from where we parked, and as you can see, this Jeep right here looks like a stock 4-door Wrangler. Not a crazy amount of clearance, but it seemed like they were able to make it down here no problem. We're at the trailhead. There's the rules and such. Let's get going. So we just came to the junction for the upper trail and lower trail, and today we're going to be doing the upper trail. Probably going to go out and back on this, but we might go down the lower trail and come back that way. We're just going to play it by ear. Just made it to the first arch. Second arch, this is sweet. At the third arch now. This one's really cool. That last arch and the viewpoint we just showed you were the end of the trail. I think you can scramble down somewhere over there, but we didn't want to do that, so we're just going to go back on this upper trail. I can't believe we haven't seen anyone else on this trail. It is about 10 a.m. on a Saturday morning, and still the only car at the trailhead is that blue Jeep, and we haven't seen anyone else on the trail. Now we're going to head back up to our car. We might make some breakfast up there, and then we'll get back on the road and show you the road on the way out of here. Back to the car now, and we're going to try to do our best to show you some of the obstacles on this access road coming in that we at least had to maybe get out and check out first, but a lot of it was pretty smooth. We were able to drive no problem, but we'll try to show you it here. A lot of this trail is just relatively smooth dirt sections like this that are just kind of windy, some ruts and bumps. There are some rocky sections, and there are a few slightly off camber rocky sections as well. We're coming up to one of the obstacles, I guess I would call it, right now. And it's kind of a ledge, but on this one side to the left, you can kind of avoid the ledge here, but this was one that we had to really take our time with and check out first. So this section here isn't anything too crazy, but this is just wanted to show one of the more rocky sections of the trail. And you do have to take your time and go slow on this section if you don't have a ton of clearance. We don't have a ton of clearance, so we're just taking our time, coming really slow through here. Here's the next, what I call a little obstacle here, and it's really just some rocks that are kind of sticking up a little higher than a lot of the other ones on the trail. So I'm gonna try to keep my driver tires on these ones and then my passenger tires up on these. I tried to kind of straddle this one before and I scraped. So I'm gonna try to stay up on these rocks and just kind of come straight through this time. So straddling that definitely worked better. I had to really make sure I kept my driver tire kind of far on that highest edge of that rock. I tried being a little further over before and I couldn't really bump up over, but keeping my driver tire high on that one side worked really well, and we didn't scrape it all that way. So at this point we've made it past all the main obstacles, but just kind of showing some more of these bumpy sections. A little bit rougher when you're coming back up them versus going down in, but nothing too bad for this truck. If you have a lower SUV, you might scrape a little, but just go really slow, take your time, plan your line out, and you should be good. I would just, if you're coming down this, I wouldn't come down this road unless you have a high clearance vehicle. But if you're willing to risk it, you know, that's on you. I wouldn't recommend it though, and you don't want to get stuck down here, block the trail for everyone else. So be smart. You come down here, plan accordingly, know how to drive on these types of roads, be safe. So we're coming up to the junction before this final trail that goes down to the trailhead, and there's probably space for 2 or 3 cars here at this trailhead if you don't feel like driving down that next section of road. But if you can make it down this and you feel comfortable going down this, then there's a pretty good chance that going down that final road to the trailhead, you'll be just fine like we were. But if you don't feel comfortable, just park there and hike in. I think from that trailhead, it's around 8.5 miles round trip. So just be ready for that. If you are gonna park there, it is a good amount longer of a hike. So we are on the lower access road now, going back out. And as you can see, this is relatively smooth. There are some rocky sections, but this road is a good amount smoother for the most part than that final access road up to the main trailhead. But there are some sections like this where it is kind of narrow. The trees are kind of close on the sides. And we will get to some areas further down where there are some steep kind of cliffed out sections on the one side. So you got to be extra careful on those. Yeah, this is what most of the road looks like. Relatively smooth, some narrow sections, just kind of winds through. We just made it back to the junction with Black Ridge Road. Right now we are on the lower Rattlesnake Arches route. If we go straight in front of us, that would take you to the upper Rattlesnake Arches route, which is currently closed. So right now we're gonna go back down Black Ridge Road to head the rest of the way out of here. Here's the sign that shows the time of year where the lower trail is open. So we're on Black Ridge Road now, and it's not too bad, but there are some sections that are pretty rocky. And we're coming up to some sections here where there's a drop off on the one side, and this road does get pretty narrow in some spots. So just be careful when you're driving on it, but this one also not too bad. If you have a high clearance 4x4, you should be fine, or any relatively high clearance SUV should be good. So we just made it back out to the beginning of Black Ridge Road, and just wanted to show the sign so you would be able to see when each access road is open and when they're both closed. There's also a map here that explains some of the rules and shows where the trailhead is. This is that final trailhead where we started the hike. We parked along this road. We went as far as we could, and along this road there were a few different pull-offs. So if you go a certain amount, don't think you can go any further, park at a pull-off and then just hike in from there. This is that first junction we showed you where you can park and hike in before this whole final access road. And then this is the road that we took to come back out. Yeah, it goes over to here. And in the other months when the other road is open, you come out and go this way, take this upper access road up that way. Yeah, I hope that is helpful if you're planning to visit these arches in the Rattlesnake Canyon. That's going to be it for this video. I hope it was helpful and I hope you enjoyed watching it. If you did, then subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching.